All right. Another writing video. Because why not? Every Wednesday, every Sunday, a new writing video. Occasional Friday. I haven't done them on a Friday in a while. Anyway, before we get into this writing topic for the day, I want to thank everybody for hitting the subscribe button. I want to thank everybody for watching these videos. I want to thank everybody for watching 30 seconds of ads or more. I want to thank... I'm leaving that in. I want to thank everyone. I also want to thank Travis Knight. Travis Knight Substack. Okay. I don't know where he got this from. I read it. I read a lot of Substack. So I'm also on Substack. Armand Rosamilia at substack.com. Check me out over there. I put a lot of these videos. I post them up there. I also do other stuff up there. So check that out. I like sharing stuff. And this is a cool one. This is one I was like, you know what? I like this one. I'm going to share this one. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to make a video on it. Again, I'm just going to read it. And we're going to just kind of go from there. I don't know where this comes from. Travis isn't very specific on any of this. I don't know Travis personally. I don't believe, but listen, I'm always a sucker for some good rules. I've done them before. I've done Elmore Leonard. I've done somebody recently. I'm a mess. I've done a bunch of them. All right, so there we go. So now we're going to do 5 rules of H.P. Lovecraft. Creating the monsters of your nightmares. I'm going to read this, and then we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. You're going to listen to me talk about it. The 5 rules of H.P. Lovecraft used to write the monsters of your nightmares. So it says, our goal is to create a cosmic horror. Forget vampires and ghosts. He unveiled the spine-chilling fear of the unknown, the humbling insignificance of humanity, and colossal ancient beings capable of driving you mad through mere presence, which nicely sums up H.P. Lovecraft's work. On a personal note, I read H.P. Lovecraft when I was a teenager. I had gotten a collection of Shadows over Innsmouth and other tales, something like that. That was like the first one I really read. And I was blown away. I'd never read anything like that, obviously. And over the years, I always liked reading other stuff like that. I was still am a huge Robert E. Howard fan. And when I was done blowing through all of the Conan paperbacks, done through all of the Solomon Kane paperbacks, all of the everything else, I found like Strange Tales of Robert E. Howard paperback, and I was like, you know what? Let me read these. And you realize later on that he come here. Do you want to get up here? You want to be annoying? Maisie needs to get involved here. And I realized that he was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft and on a lot of these tales, and they used a lot of the same mythos, which was really cool. So let me see if I can do this with a cat on me. Rule number 1: never fully describe the monster. So it says, the human imagination is far more terrifying than anything you could put on the page. Hint at its form, its unnatural movements, its alien geometry, but leave the true horror to the reader's mind. And I think that's a great one. Okay? Who is texting me when I'm doing this? I think that's a solid one. Because the more detail and stuff you give, the less the reader can take ownership of it. I'm really big on reader's ownership. I don't For my own characters, for instance, I don't really describe them in too much. And I think definitely when we're doing monsters, it's more of that visceral, tooth and nail kind of thing, rather than let's describe the snout, and let's describe the tentacles, and let's describe all this other stuff. So I like that one, and that is definitely, over the years, over the decades, people have drawn Cthulhu. They've drawn all of the great creatures that H.P. Lovecraft created, wrote about in his stories. So I think that's a good one. Okay. I think that's a probably that first part. If you start to describe the creatures, the monsters too much, especially as big as he made them. Okay. As big as some of them are, I think it's you gotta go. I think it's important to let the reader take ownership of it. I think sometimes that's the problem when we're doing movies that have a H.P. Lovecraft influence. Is obviously you're doing a movie, you gotta detail the monster, and it doesn't ever hardly live up to the expectation that you want. So that's a good one. Rule number 1, I like that one. And also, how to hint at horror. This is also part of that. Use adjectives that evoke dread without defining. Okay, cyclopean, squamous, rugose, non-Euclidean, gruesome. I don't even know if I said rugose right. Rugose. I don't know. I'm a writer. What do I know? Focus on the effect the monster has on the environment and the observer, not its physical details. So again, I 100% agree with that, and I think that's what makes a lot of H.P. Lovecraft stuff so creepy and weird. And as a kid, I was like, why am I even reading this? This is insane. Good stuff. Rule number 2. Incomprehensible scale and look. So it says, Lovecraft's monsters are not just big. They're ancient, vast, and indifferent. Their true look is impossible to describe with our language, but our minds can try. They existed before humanity, and they will exist long after. This makes human concerns seem utterly trivial. And this says, make humanity insignificant. Show, don't tell the vastness. Describe landscapes warped by their presence or the sheer crushing weight of their age. Your characters are mere specks in a cosmic drama. And I think, and I put myself in this too, when a lot of times when I read Lovecraftian horror, the characters do too much. The characters are too involved in the story, too involved in the ending of that story. And if you think about that, Cthulhu doesn't care about you. Well, yeah, he's got followers. Yeah, he's got people that think they're helping out, blah, blah, blah. But all in all, he's just doing his thing. All of these creatures, and I use Cthulhu, that's my favorite, but there's so many others. And they just don't care. They have their own alien way of looking at things, the way time works, the way anything works. And when you look at that from our standpoint, from the human standpoint, you really you have to understand that they don't care. Okay, and I think that's the crushing part of cosmic horror is you're not gonna, as a human, you're not gonna change anything. You are so insignificant in all this. You are not gonna save mankind. You're not gonna do anything. At some point, we could all just be wiped out, and it is it's horror. That's pretty awesome when you have no real say in anything. I like that one. I like that one too. Okay. Rule number 3, sensory decay. So it says the horror isn't just visual, it's the unnatural smells, the unearthly sounds, the texture of alien skin. Lovecraft engages all senses to break down the reader's perception of reality. So overload the senses subtly. Describe sounds that defy physics, colors that don't exist, and textures that are both repulsive and fascinating. Make the familiar feel alien and wrong. I think that's another great point. A lot of Lovecraft stories and a lot of people writing cosmic horror and Lovecraftian stuff. It's the character is looking up at the ceiling and the angles are wrong. The wall is warped. There's something wrong. Okay. And you can't define it in words, but you just know you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Things are off. And again, the smells, the sounds, all of that is so powerful because as a writer, you can explain it as far as the human mind would understand it, okay, which is not really big at all. You're never going to be able to define what's happening, and I think that's a great one. Okay, I always tell people say, "Oh, I really like horror." Okay, well, do you like horror where everything gets explained at the end and the good guy wins and saves the world and takes out a rocket launcher and blows the giant alien tentacled monster in the ocean? Because you ain't going to get that in cosmic horror. You're not getting that in Lovecraft. You're reading cosmic horror, and because people are going to die, people are going to be crushed underfoot by the physical weight of these creatures or by the weight of the understanding that you cannot win. And I think that is I think that's powerful. I'm just going to say it. I think it's powerful. I've written I wrote a trilogy, Keepword Cthulhu, and I wrote it from their point of view. And I guess if you want to, it's cosmic horror, but too much human interaction, I guess, for me. But again, I'm not writing from the viewpoint of Cthulhu. I'm writing from the viewpoint of his followers in the town and people who are trying to not be killed by those followers and that kind of thing. So that's important. Rule number 4. This 4, like the 4 horsemen from WWE wrestling, not the dudes from the Bible, the 4 horsemen. Ric Flair and Tully Blanchard and Arn and Ole Anderson. Yeah, I'm that old. Rule number 4: the price of knowledge. In Lovecraft, understanding is a curse. The more a character learns about the cosmic entities, the closer they come to madness. Ignorance is bliss. Knowledge is terror. Make knowledge dangerous. Frame discoveries not as triumphs, but as tragic revelations. The protagonist doesn't defeat the monster. They merely glimpse its horrifying truth before succumbing to despair or madness. The allure of Lovecraft's work lies in its intricate atmosphere and the gradual escalation of dread. Trying to encapsulate this depth of psychological horror in a first draft can be overwhelming. That's why you need a system. Okay? And I just realized that it's a paid. You got me. You got me, Travis. You gave me 4 rules, and now you're not giving me the last rule. Nice. You know what? I might upgrade to paid on this one. Not right this second, but all right. So let's talk about rule number 4. So really, it's I'm only talking about the 4 rules. Yeah, I mean, understanding what is happening is only going to drive you insane. Nobody gains this knowledge and is like, I understand. No. No, it's the worst thing you can do is figure out what's going on. Okay. I think that is the problem here. Okay. The problem is figuring this out, and it is not in your best interest. How's that? You know what I'm going to do right now, Travis? No. We're doing this live. I don't care. I'm gonna subscribe because I want to know what the last one is. You got me, buddy. You got me for a month. So we're gonna do a month. See what happens. And this is all staying. So this is good. All right, we're gonna skip all of this. We're gonna skip all of this. We're gonna do this is the one thing I don't like about Substack, because they do this stuff. Okay. I think you got me, Travis, because the 5 rules, okay, and I signed in, and I still only got 4 rules. Was one of these a 5th rule? Rule number 1, new rule number 2, number 3, number 4. I can't believe. So I guess rule number 5 was make knowledge dangerous. So I read those 2 together. I'm not redoing this. It is what it is. You know what? I like what this guy is doing it. I'm gonna keep it for the month. Read the rest of his stuff. Travis Knight, at Travis Knight, KNIGHT on Substack. Check it out. I subscribed, and looks like he's got a bunch of posts. He's an Arkansas author of the Bingo Killer series and the brand new sci-fi novel Moonium. Currently working on Whisper Road, a collection of short stories, and Mural Murders. All right, so thank you very much. I will put it in the description. I will tag our new friend, Travis Knight. And if you see any of these posts like this about, writing rules and different things, I want to read them. I want to see them. I'm always interested in these types of posts. I'm also interested in thanking all of you for subscribing, and also thank you for checking out my other writing videos and whatnot here on YouTube, and also watching 30 seconds or more of the ads. That's how we get paid here. That's how we all make our big, huge money. I want to buy 3 or 4 yachts this year, and the only way I'm going to do that is 30 seconds or more of ads. Or maybe no yachts. I don't know. Anyway, read more Cosmic Horror. Yeah. All right.